good afternoon, good morning, or good night, depending on when you're listening to this. This is once again Editor Aaron coming to you as he edits the podcast for this episode. A couple things. This is the second part of a two-parter on Batman Returns, the deep dive with Dallas, Aaron, and James. If you're interested, you should go back to the previous episode, number 9, and listen to that for the first part of this massive deep dive into Batman Returns. Secondly, you're going to start to wonder when the theme song is going to hit on this episode's opener. Well, the opener goes a bit long, 16 minutes in fact, and it's all about man's favorite thing in the world. I'll let you guess as you listen, as episode 10 gets underway right now. No wrong as I click the record button. There is no way to do this wrong. You do what you got to do, Dallas.
He's wearing them the wrong way the whole time.
And why didn't you tell him, Aaron? You're the professional.
You know what? I'm dyslexic. It's just fine.
It's just fine. Everything.
It's just fine.
It's just fine. Okay. Well, with
I mean, as long as you can hear, you're fine. It's whatever.
Hearing what's on my left and my right. We are very dyslexic.
It's been a great day so far. This is part 2 of the Batman Returns deep dive episode. We were talking earlier, me and Dallas, and James may disagree or agree, but one of the greatest baking shows of all time, again, I say that with a bit of hyperbole, is the Great British Baking Show.
Oh no, I love that show.
It is
so good,
and it's just one of those things where you're just like, this is good home family kindness. Like, these people are so nice to each other. And yeah, someone loses every week, but they're also sad when they leave. And they're always like, oh, we missed it. And they support each other and they help each other out. I think
it's that positive thing that made it so popular, especially over here.
Yeah. Well,
all our shows are always kind of like, they're mean and nasty and
it's
like cruel to each other.
Yeah.
Over there, it's kind of like, oh man, I'm sad that you're leaving.
And I just discovered that they have a show called Junior Bake Off. I was looking on the Facebooks, and I was like, oh, cute little kids in Paul Hollywood. Sign me up for that. So we've agreed. We've come to the conclusion and endorsed and supported and championed that you should watch the British Bake Off if you haven't watched it. Which, if you haven't, why have you been living under a rock for the last couple of years? There are like 8 seasons of this thing, and it's on Netflix, and it's amazing.
And it's fun to watch.
Guilty admission. We didn't know it existed until like 7 or 8 months ago, and it's already all gone.
Yeah, you've
eaten through 9 series, seasons, and those are 10 episodes each. By the way.
Yep.
In 4 months.
Yeah. It's one of the best things in the world. And I think in this day and age, in the 2022s, as we march forward with all the things that are happening in the world between COVID and everything else, you got to find the good stuff. You got to find
positivity.
Find the good shows. I can't watch like Kitchen Nightmare. I can't watch any. I'm like, I don't want to get yelled at anymore. I want to be told that,
the Gordon Ramsay where he just yells at people. Yeah. But then it's weird. He has a British
show.
one.
Yeah, a kid's show.
Yeah, well, he also has an adult one that's like shows over there, and he's nice and polite and kind and whatever. But for whatever, they bring him over here on our shows, and they make him into this nightmare man.
Gordon Ramsay is so close to my heart. I love that dude. So he has this super severely hard exterior, but deep down, he's such a sweetheart. Yeah. And when he's a sweetheart, those are the best. That's the best Gordon Ramsay ever.
Yeah.
I have one of his YouTube episodes saved where he's cooking with his daughter.
Oh,
and it's so good.
Oh.
It's just, I love listening to the guy speak, and I don't care if he's yelling. I don't care if he's kindly talking to me. I need him in my life. Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Even his Twitter and his social media, the way he interacts with people, he's so
guy.
Nice and kind of open to stuff.
He's just acting the part for the U.S. series. So,
I mean, he does pick on the trolls a little bit because the internet is loaded with trolls. But the thing is, he is so nice and like open and wants to talk and communicate with people.
Before we go into our intro, there's one thing you may remember, either of you, Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah,
who we lost.
I miss him.
His show, To Parts Unknown, was a staple in my house. I loved that show. He was a true connoisseur of the good things in life.
Oh yeah, just life itself.
But he talked about how important it was to get to know people in the countries he was going to. Very interesting guy. Very deep meaning in every episode that he did. And when he I think because he died, he committed suicide, I believe. or something happened, something happened.
I think it was an overdose.
Yep. He everyone felt it. Everyone, because he was he was so good at what he did. And he was such a good guy.
And like his episodes, he talked about like almost all the time the beauty of life.
Yep, the beauty
of like experiencing it
and flavor.
Yeah,
and,
like sitting across the table talking to these like regional chefs and these regional people like in the middle of nowhere, where you just stop to eat and try out their food and just kind of like, man.
And he didn't sell himself as Anthony Bourdain, the worldwide celebrity. He was just like, my name's Anthony. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, one of my favorite. One of my favorite episodes that I've ever seen of that was him sitting down with a family, and I forgive me if I miss it, but in some foreign country where there are still live munitions in the
Syria, I believe, probably. Maybe somewhere.
But he's cross-legged on the floor with this family, and he's not speaking the language. Their language is food, and they invite this foreigner in to have food with them. And they speak the language of love of food.
I remember that episode. I actually remember parts of that episode.
It's amazing.
Yeah, because
food does so much for people.
Food is a language.
Yeah,
I think, because obviously Dallas is one of the new owners of Zazie Cafe
spoiled.
here.
You didn't have to also mention that. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool thing.
It's a plug.
But there is that food is a language. Good food, good flavors. Like we had a special this weekend for a breakfast sandwich on sourdough, and I had it for the first time today.
I had it last week. It's so good.
And I literally could not stop talking about it for like 10 minutes. I probably annoyed the entire group in the cafe because it was like, I was just like, this is so good. And Lucy brought in her cabbage pockets that she made. And it had the spice to it, but it wasn't like a spice that was overwhelming.
It was pepper spice.
It was pepper and like some red,
and
it was like, you ate it, and it was
good.
like, this is like, I would never suggest that Lucy makes things with love because she's a whole character unto herself.
You need to stop that.
But
she also in Erin's defense, she also would not say that she would make things with love.
Yeah.
I tried to say that the other day, and she was like, I don't.
I make them with contempt.
I don't.
Essence of foot traffic.
Not really.
But like it was so
but still,
good.
she put some passion into what she makes.
She knows how to do it. And like when you meet people who know flavors and know good food, you're like I ate half of that cabbage pocket because she had half of it and it was going she was going to throw it away.
And I'm filled with sadness
because you didn't get any.
I'm so sorry.
She gave
James.
them away.
She gave away her love.
It's okay
for you.
You know what though?
Yes.
She may or may not have more.
I'm sure she will. If you paid her, we might get some more cabbage pockets out of her.
We'll see. I'll ask her.
If you're out there and you're wondering what the heck are cabbage pockets, Google them. It's
I didn't know until the other day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know until the other day, and Gert brought some in.
Yeah. Cabbage pockets. They're the business. They are a staple, I think, of a lot of rural communities and a lot of almost European kind of communities and stuff like that, where European food it's a big deal. So Google it if you're interested. We have to get back to Batman Returns. So
we don't have to. We can talk about whatever we want. It's our podcast, Aaron.
We do.
I'm not done with the food, man.
Yeah, we're still on Anthony Bourdain. How amazing of a human being he was.
Oh, we are going to be here all day.
Yeah, and food.
Okay.
And food.
All right.
Well, okay. So to go back to what we were talking about a moment ago, where Aaron has this moment with this sandwich.
Yes.
I had a moment much like that, and I thought it was very funny. So Lucy and I had a little bonding experience over Aaron's. He's like, have you ever had? And I asked her, have you ever had this instance where you just need a moment with your food?
Yeah.
And it's this love affair with whatever you're eating at that time. And so both of them, you can't see this, but everybody's nodding.
Yeah, we're all nodding. Yeah.
And listen, no, nothing I can think of. Maybe with espresso.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So where you take a moment and you're like, this is so delicious.
Well, so that point today we were trying out different. We have two different white mocha or white chocolate things. We have a syrup and we have a powder. And so we were trying to figure out, okay, which is the better of the two? Is it the powder or is it going to be the syrup from whatever whatever it is? And so I cooked it up. That doesn't sound right at all. I made it up. Let's try that in another phrasing. So I made it. We put it together, put it in cups, and we had it. And the syrup was not great. It did not taste good.
Okay.
The powder was amazing. But what happened is that we made the syrup one, the second one, and I was drinking, and I kept drinking the syrup, white mocha or white chocolate, and they were looking at me like, why are you keep drinking? I was like, here's the deal. The espresso that we get is so good, it overrides the unpleasantness of the syrupy white mocha that I hated. And that is a powerful thing. So when Lucy says maybe over espresso, there is a connection to good espresso and to good coffee flavor and a good coffee base. And so I absolutely agree. Yeah, if you did that in like Starbucks espresso, I wouldn't drink. I would continue to drink it. But the espresso we have at Zazie is like, no, this is good. I can't throw this away. This is good espresso. I got to keep drinking this because I'm liking it.
It is pretty good.
So
when you buy the quality stuff,
the power of flavor has power to.
Like I miss the cafes. Like where I was in Texas, we had like 4 different places where they bought their beans, they home roasted them right there in their own spot, and they'd make your cups of coffee. It is magic if you get a good cup of coffee that's made like that. Yeah. Oh, I was spoiled for the longest time.
So if you're listening and you're still hanging with us, we have spent 10 minutes talking about food. We apologize if you're hungry.
Do
you remember?
They would make different roasts depending on what
in-house.
They would in-house. They're light and dark roasts, and they'd buy the different brew. Like Samia Coffee Lab, I'm plugging them, even though they probably never listen to this, but they love coffee in all its forms, and they go the extra mile with buying the beans and caring about the flavor profile of their beans, how long they roast them for, and all this kind of stuff. And they have different ways of brewing them, and they'll serve you different cups in all the different ways. They had every single style of brewing on the board, and you could order how you wanted it brewed for you.
That's true.
And they have a back like spot they call Nude Roastery that only does, you have to get like a scheduled event. You have to buy your seat to get in there.
Okay.
And then you can request, they have like beans where it's like, okay, this bean is super, super rare. For 1 cup, it'll cost you like $20 because the way those beans were raised and everything else and how rare they are. Yeah. And then they'll make it to your preference of how you want to do it. And it's like an hour and a half long event where they serve you like that. Oh. And I went and I did one of those tastings, and it was amazing. Good coffee, good beans, folks. It's worth it. I mean, I can't talk about how good they make a good cup of coffee if you really, really go for it. And it's so much better than Starbucks and everything. I stopped going to any place like that.
Here's a funny thing. So I'm new to the nuance in coffee, but I am not new to coffee. Right. Now, for the longest time, I used to would just drink whatever was there because I used to drink coffee all day. I mean, 3 pots a day, max.
Even I'm not there.
So it didn't matter what it was. But I remember my first instance of trying a good Sumatra, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I'm ruined.
This just spoiled me.
Back. So as we got into some of the nuance, being new cafe owners, I was doing some studies, and at every turn when I did the research, they start talking about Starbucks, and they're like, "There's a reason that Starbucks trains its baristas the way they train them, and it's because the coffee isn't that great. Yeah, the espresso isn't that great. Yeah, and the hotter you serve it, the less your taste buds catch it because extreme heat, extreme cold, your face doesn't understand. Yep. And so it dulls that sense.
Yep.
So actually, if you want the best taste, tepid is the way to go.
Right.
Yep.
And that's why I do all of my stuff kids temp.
Right.
Because also I'm
as a former Starbucks worker, I can tell you that I did not like our espresso taste. Our coffee flavors, we roast them in a certain way that is a certain flavor signature.
It's Starbucks flavor signature for sure.
We just lost our Starbucks ad sponsorship. I just thought you guys should know.
Starbucks.
The warning came over my phone.
Starbucks is listening on the internets. They found
We're
us.
barred from all their stores.
It's over. Well, that's okay. I'm happy to be okay with that.
Darn it.
But I'd say if you guys have spots out there that are like little spots that do roast their own beans and stuff, go try their coffee. These people care about coffee.
Try your independent coffee.
Like it'll blow your mind the flavor profiles you will get out of a good cup of coffee. Yep. And it's an experience. Sit down and sip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for house coffee, sometimes that experience is simply just being around good people.
Yeah.
For the espresso, I don't do espresso, but I know the Americano is my go-to.
Do you want? I've told you the story about why the Americano exists.
Yeah, the Americano. Go into it.
Yeah, so in World War II, we sent our American GIs overseas, and
it's because we're sissies.
Oh, we are not. Or as
yes, we are.
Or as our one of our workers, our fellow coworkers would say, sissy lalas. So the Americans went overseas, and Americans in 1940s, 1945, whatever, we drank our coffee. We were coffee drinkers. Like, it was a coffee culture. That's just how it was. And so the Americans get overseas to Europe, and Europe coffee is not American coffee.
Stronger.
And so they would walk
stronger.
into these coffee shops or whatever. They would go to coffee places or whatever, or even homes or whatever, and they'd be like, hey, do you have coffee? And they're like, what do you mean coffee? They're like, well, no, this. And they're like, well, we have espresso. And they're like, well, how can that work? And so through trial and error, probably, I don't know the whole deep history of it, but the European coffee shops said, okay, we'll give you 4 shots of espresso, or how many shots of espresso in hot water, and that will be your coffee. And it worked. Mm-hmm. And so the Americano, the reason why it's called an Americano is because the Americans were not
it's watered down espresso.
They were not.
We were not accustomed.
We were not.
Their,
we were not hip to their.
Yeah.
But what's funny is Starbucks then took that and mixed it up and messed it up, and now sells it as a part of their program. And they've taken the Italian European espresso culture.
Oh yeah,
and destroyed it. And I'm not afraid to say that because I don't work for them anymore, and I probably never will.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
And our atmosphere is not that.
Yeah.
By the way,
Zazie is a very different place.
cafe.
Well, we've spent 15 minutes. On
Yeah.
All right,
And
I'll
now
go-
Batman has to return, folks.
All right, Batman returns.
You know, we may do this as a one-off,
Sorry.
like little episode where it's like 15 minutes about food and tea, or tea and coffee, or food and I don't even know. Because
I mean, this is fine.
I can riff on just about anything.
Yeah.
I don't have notes.
This is what
I don't
I've
have an
gotten
agenda.
some feedback aside from Marshall's, where it's just verbally from other people that they liked our banter, kind of like we're open to just talk about anything.
all right, well,
So leave it in there.
We've bantered our way through 16
Like
minutes.
Batman's gonna return here, folks.
It's coming.
Yeah,
He's
come
coming
on.
back.
He's on his way.
He's on
All right,
his way.
well,
We're turning on the bat signal now.
all right, we'll play the intro 15 minutes into the episode, and then we'll get started with part 2 of Batman Returns Deep Dive. Here we go.
Get nerdy with me. Talk nerdy to me. Get nerdy with me. All I really need for you to do is just please
I can stop.
talk to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We have returned. Batman is back in the building. We have locked the doors. We have secured the systems.
The bat signal's out there going.
Yeah,
It's
we're
against
we're,
our
we are all Batman
gray skies.
all day long, every day out. It's now Batman until the end. So, Cat, we
We went and bought our bat
where are
fries
we?
with our bat soda and our bat burgers.
we got our
We are
bat,
on the
we got our bat seats,
bat
and our
Cheez-Its
same bat time.
with our
same bat
same
channel.
bat channel.
So the people like younger generations out there might not understand what that means, but Batman, the original series with Adam West, had a set time and a set channel, and their plug was see you next time, same bat time, same bat channel. And that's history television wise, because shows had a set channel and a set time. They didn't move time slots.
Yeah, network
that was
television.
that was a later development in network television. Like, when Friends would move nights, and it was a big deal. And
Oh,
my
yeah, it
gosh,
was.
if a show moved, all of a sudden it meant that show wasn't well thought of anymore because they were getting schlepped over to another night,
Or it
And-
was better.
or it was a better night.
They're
Yeah, you
shoved
got
into a worse time slot.
you got
Oh, no.
upgraded to a
Yeah,
better
yeah.
time
Yeah.
slot.
TGIF?
And now,
If you
Yep.
remember that.
in the days of Netflix and everything else, now there is no time slots.
No.
I mean, there is, but people don't really pay attention to it.
Well, there's a day now with some of the ways they release.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it comes out on
But-
Wednesday, so you got the people that wait till
Yeah, yeah,
midnight
yeah.
to watch the episode
Yeah,
till
yeah,
1 in the
absolutely.
morning. It's,
There's your time slot.
yeah, there's your
right?
time slot.
Big media still has control.
But yeah.
Okay, the tree lighting. We're back again to the tree lighting. This is the moment where Penguin.
We didn't have time to talk about the Batusi. Come on.
the what?
From the 1970s Batman. The dance that he did for the Bat. Never, whatever.
There was a dance.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, you don't know
No,
about this?
come on.
What?
Touch on it.
The
Let's go.
Batusi? He has a
The
dance. You can-
Batusi?
Yeah.
He has a dance.
You're kidding me.
No.
That was such an accusation.
go.
And also a defense.
I feel disgusted in you
Aaron
two
is
that
on
you don't know this.
Batusi?
Aaron is on the laptop right now.
Batusi.
I'll go for a
Oh,
play-by-play.
no.
And he's
Yeah.
looking up Adam West's dance.
Oh, no.
From the
You probably
original
need to walk around-
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, ow.
That hurt.
We just killed all
Oh,
our
that was
earphone.
terrible.
let me change my USB thing here.
Oh,
Hold on
my
a second.
Lord.
Okay.
All
Oof.
right, let's try this again. We got to skip the advertisement. Okay, so we'll get that. Yeah, the advertisement is from Death on the Nile, apparently a Poirot movie or something. All right, so
Everybody
here's-
wearing headphones out there, I do apologize.
Sorry.
Here we go. Let's find out what this. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, it's not so much the song, but it's the visual.
Batusi.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look it up.
Still loud. Oh my gosh.
You can picture it through the music, right?
James is loving this right now. I can't see anything.
This is
But
such a product of the time.
My goodness, this is the 60s.
Yeah. I mean, Batman going out to just hang out in bars and stuff is like Batman.
Now help me out here, James,
Ooh.
because I can't see anything. Is he in full garb?
Oh yeah,
He is fully
he's
Batman.
full garb.
then.
He's full
Okay.
Batman.
It's
The
fully
blue
Batman.
cowl
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
okay.
black. I mean the gray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the original
And
Batman.
Robin is with them, right? Wearing the full, or is this one's just Batman?
The
Man, they used to
usual-
go out and do like everyday things dressed as Batman and Robin.
The usual table.
And it's yeah.
Okay, so he does start dancing. He goes out on the dance floor, and yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around for Dallas because it is this is news to me.
Is this
I did
like-
not.
is this Adam
I
West
did
just
not
doing
know
the
this.
thing?
Yes, it's Adam West. So here's the Batusi.
There you go.
Oh my
And
gosh.
look, Robin's
okay,
all getting
I got
down
it.
in the
okay.
car. Woo!
I see it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if you're looking, it's spelled Batusi. Go onto the YouTubes and discover what we just
I am
discovered.
so
Welcome.
like my jaw's on the floor. You guys didn't know about this.
I had no idea.
I didn't
He
watch
had
the
his
original.
own bat dance.
I had seen the original, but I ever watched that.
I didn't watch the Batusi. The things you the
So good.
Oh my goodness.
I love-
Okay,
I
well,
love learning new
from
things.
from the Batusi
Okay.
to the Batmobile being hijacked.
Where did they get the schematics for this Batmobile?
I know, right?
That was my question.
I'm so angry.
That was my question. I was so confused and so alarmed and so angry. And they were not crude schematics.
No, they had everything.
They had it was professional looking schematics.
Someone on the inside.
But who?
It's Alfred. He's
Alfred's
trying to end Batman.
Alfred's the insider on the whole thing. Oh my goodness.
This is before hackers, kids.
Yeah, this is before hackers.
Big
So
time before hackers.
I wonder if because they have this when he puts on the little cover or whatever. For
Shields.
Shields. He puts the shields up, and then they show
What he
up.
says.
Yeah, he does. He does say shields.
Like
Yeah,
Dallas just
yeah.
looked at me like I was a crazy man. No, it's what he says.
No, I was amused at the call out.
The tenacity of it.
Is it that the call out?
Yeah.
Shields. No, they're shields here.
Yeah, they are. They're shields. So they show up and the shields are up and they just point this thing at it and click it.
Yep.
And so I know that I've spent the last hour saying I love it when movies trust their audiences to make their own connections. But could you please, for the love, give me a reason why this happens and how? There is no information, no evidence to suggest that this level of technology existed.
See, what you're hearing from Aaron is usually what goes through my brain. It's just I don't have all that shouting wrapped with my away from my head.
It's the one point in this movie where I'm just like, really? It's one of the few points in this movie that I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it is so bad. And to go through all that, look at how deep they tear that thing apart.
Oh yeah, they do it. They do.
And they do a number on ripping it apart.
Yep.
And the thing that they implant is a little squirrely thing on the
Right,
bottom that
yeah.
spins. It's like,
Right.
what?
Yeah, that's how.
You had all the guts out. You don't what?
Why did you make it so easy for him?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for. It is a bit of a floppy pothole. Floppy pothole. Wait, wow.
Wow.
What was I trying to say?
I don't know.
A floppy plot hole.
Ah.
There it is. It's a bit of it's kind of just there. You're like, why No, I could drive a Mack truck through that. That doesn't make any sense.
Now, see, I could make fun of how he controls it, but I thought it was kind of goofy and funny to have him riding that little car thing.
It's so good, though.
I did enjoy that.
So that's why I don't make
good.
fun of it, because it's like, okay, this is more of Tim Burton's kind of goofiness thrown in there, where it's like he's driving the little car with all the screen. I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of funny.
It worked
but what
for
they
me.
just did to the car is
a little dumb.
No.
So what do we have here? So the Batman is framed for the murder or the thing of whatever. They take over the Batmobile. Batman is reduced to basically trying to avoid, and he
also had a CD player / burner in the Batmobile at the time, so that obviously he was rich.
Right. Yeah. You didn't have that in the late 90s. What happens here is the Batmobile is reduced, so he has to disconnect it to get through that little alleyway.
Yeah, he blows off the outer coverings.
Right,
It's
which
just basically the engine, I guess, is left.
Which I get. I loved him hitting the button and it doesn't work, and he's like, now I'm getting worried. It's really kind of just one of those moments where Bruce Wayne kind of comes out from behind the mask. It's time for class to be over.
Yeah, it's time to watch Classrooms here, guys.
The bells are going off in my room. I like that kind of moment where he's not quite confident this is going to work. He's like, now I'm getting worried. But it works, and he gets through, and then the police cars all crash and smash. Catwoman is mad. This is the moment where she turns, and she gets upset, because what Penguin does goes beyond what I think she thought would have happened.
Yep.
She imagines certain things going the way, but the fact that he kills, I think he murders the lady with the lighting of the tree.
Yep.
That happens. She dies. And Catwoman, I think, kind of just goes, wait a second. This is what's supposed to be all fun and games.
Well, the thing is also, look at how possessive he's trying to be of her, and that's a no-no.
Yeah. And I think Catwoman, and
she's a strong, independent woman. It's what she wants to be.
Yeah.
You can't be claiming her.
We've already established there's an undertone there that we didn't
we
necessarily
can't really
want to
talk.
discuss. But there is also
we can talk about that a little bit, because that's what he's doing.
There is a possession kind of element to that.
Right. And it is.
And that happens. I think that happens more often than not in movies, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Within that storyline and that plot line that we're kind of dancing around, I think it's a good part of this movie because it addresses that dynamic that is unhealthy. And it, obviously we as gentlemen would say that dynamic of thinking that you own someone because of their gender is inappropriate, wrong, uncalled for.
Yeah, we're all on the same page here.
It's not something that we support or even would talk about being okay with. It is, and in this movie, I think they play with that within healthy adult adult viewers are able to make the connections and understand, okay, this is part of Catwoman's characteristic, and her character is her journey towards independence, towards being strong, towards being her own woman, not being possessed or owned by Max Schreck, the Penguin, and other things like that. So the fact that Penguin just tosses the Christmas tree lighter lady down and kills her suggests that he doesn't care about women in his life. They're packages. And that's what I think.
They're items.
They're items.
Items to be possessed.
Right. And Catwoman is unhappy. And I wonder, there would be an interesting character study if you were to dig into Catwoman and say, well, what was she thinking was gonna happen? Was she blinded to? I mean, yeah, she knew he was a lecherous kind of guy, and she didn't want to hang out with him. And she was like, no, there's no way in heck this is happening. Get away from me. Like, we're done. Why was she was she not quite sure of what he would do to other women, because she was so she was like, oh, well, he could hurt me, but I won't let him. But she didn't think that he would hurt.
They kind of shoehorned them together because, at the time, who's Batman's nemesis? Oh, the Penguin.
Yeah.
So she just kind of went with the Penguin because she has that one encounter with Batman where they do have their sparring
that's
or whatever,
true.
and she just decides she hates Batman.
Right.
And it's kind of like, what? I mean, you could wire it in where it's like, okay, she met a stronger male figure who's not really trying to possess her, and she doesn't know how to work with this guy.
Well, the other part is,
and that's why she likes Batman.
The other part of Catwoman is she's chaos. Her character is chaos. And so Penguin offers her the best.
At least in this movie, she is.
Penguin offers her the best opportunity for chaos, and maybe she glosses over with that and doesn't think he'll hurt somebody else. I don't know. We could spend hours into that, but it's an interesting dynamic that Catwoman's line that is drawn is when he kills that woman, and I think it's a a bonus and a plus to her character and to Michelle Pfeiffer because she plays it so well, because you see it in her eyes that she realizes this was a bad idea. I shouldn't have signed on with this dude. I regret this. I am upset. I shouldn't have done this. I like the line later where Bruce Wayne and Alfred are together, and Alfred's like, oh, well, security. He's like, who let Vicky Vale into the Batcave, Alfred? You remember that?
There you go. Yes. I love that callback.
And he doesn't even stop there. He says, I turn around, and there she is. Like, what was I supposed to do? And Alfred's just like, me.
Yeah. Oh, well. I took a shot.
So.
Yeah. It's the Hamilton. You got to take the shot. You got to do what you got to do. Let's see here.
Great musical.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I like the Batman, like, don't mess with Batman, where the attack stuff starts happening. Like, he is, oh no, this is the speech, right, that gets made by Penguin when he's going to be the mayor, and Batman has the CDR that he recorded and he plays it back.
Oh yeah.
And that scene, if you look at him and Alfred, I feel like when I look at Michael Keaton as he plays Bruce Wayne / the Batman in that scene, he's not dressed in the cowl or anything, he's just dressed as regular. There's almost like this, like, I don't want to have to do this to him. I don't want to have to hurt Oswald, but this is what has happened. He's tried to destroy my Batmobile. He's trying to murder people. This is what I've got to do to destroy him. I have to discredit him to the city of Gotham.
I think he feels bad. I think he feels bad for him just all around, because you see it earlier in the movie where he's like, oh, I hope he finds his parents.
Yeah, or like he feels some sympathy for this guy. It's just he's not showing any redeemable qualities, so I have to kind of do this to him.
Yeah. That's like,
that's kind of reductive.
Well, it's showing a little bit of the conscience behind the.
There is a human.
Our hero.
Yeah, there is a human underneath that cowl.
Yeah,
there is, and that I like how Keaton plays it, because you do recognize, just through his emotions, and his emoting, and his eyes, and how he plays that character. You're like, oh man, this guy. He's not. Sometimes he doesn't want to go to the darkness that Batman goes to. He recognizes that he can't go too close to that dark center. He has to find a way back. Let's see what else here. Yeah, the Batman CD player that has a logo.
Yep.
That was a moment where I was just like, okay, all right, we're going a little far here. We're pushing the boundaries of sponsorship. Come on.
You know what?
But
it's because we can.
It's because we can.
Because we can.
That's Hollywood for you.
The Bat CD player.
Yeah,
so the fun part about the press conference is there's fruit that comes out of nowhere. Tomatoes and lettuce.
Yeah.
I love how the Penguin's like, why does everyone always bring fruit to a speech? Yeah. But it is not like one or two. It is a volley.
It is a huge volume.
Yeah, it's a volley of just fruit and stuff.
Well, I mean, also kind of like this turn happens so fast.
It's quick.
I'm kind of like,
everybody's on board with him, and then all of a sudden they find out he's a sleazeball, and they're like,
I'm like that. No.
It's like turning on a light switch.
I mean, I get it for the shortness of it, but I'm also like, that's way too fast.
Yeah,
it is way too fast.
You're not going to switch just like that.
But at that
there's going to be so much confusion.
Yeah,
that would be the correct response. To be utter confusion versus people all of a sudden like lobbing Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
It does require them. They do. I mean, obviously the movie has to movie, so they have to kind of move it quick. Oswald.
Oh, come on.
Oswald flees. When he returns, he changes his name, doesn't he? Because hey, Oswald. He's like, my name's not Oswald.
Yeah, he gives it up.
I'm a penguin.
Yeah,
I'm a penguin.
Yeah.
And he starts taking off his suit and stuff like that. The Batcave. He's like, should you go to the party? Should you not? And he's like, well, I'll go. And then so the masks. It's interesting. At the party, Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle are one of the very few people not wearing masks.
Yeah, I think that's
intentional.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the duality.
That's kind of what I talked about like last episode, where it's like, okay, Bruce Wayne's the mask.
Yeah. The chemistry between these two continues to just be through the roof.
It's pretty good.
Like you just go, oh, these two do like each other. Like there is something. They again, two masterful actors. When you put two people who can do it, who can make that impressive just scene making. You're just like, okay, just act. Well, just call me when you're done.
Yeah, like the realization moment between us.
Oh yeah. So when they kiss, and he's like, oh well, he says his line, and then she says like, and the moment of realization.
Yeah.
Their eyes and how like you said, you just go, and I said they figured it out. And I said, oh my god. And the best part about that is one of them says, I think it's Bruce Wayne says, okay, so do we fight now?
Yeah.
He's not sure what to do. And she's like, let's go outside. And what I was talking about with Dallas earlier, is obviously Oswald crashes the party. There's an explosion. It flings Bruce and Selena across the room apart. But what I would have liked to have known is, okay, well, what would have happened if they had made it outside? Were they going to fight?
Yeah, what was going to happen?
Was there going to be a fight, or was there going to be like a knockdown, drag out verbal altercation about how could you not tell? And he could have been like, I was trying to tell you, I was trying to give you clues, but you couldn't figure it out. And she's like, those are the dumbest clues ever.
Yeah.
You're such a man trying to give me
all this kind
Why
of
are you
stuff.
playing games?
Why are you playing games?
Why
Just
couldn't you guess what my favorite flower was, Aaron?
just be straight with me. Like there could
I'm
have
sorry,
been
that's really terrible. But
that could be a really cool like. So it's
I got the married guys laughing. So
No.
I'm saying.
No. It's fine.
It's
I understand.
It's fine.
We've all had that conversation
Yeah.
once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
So there's
But yeah, what would have happened if they would have gone outside? It is a good question if they would have made it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they're right next to each other. How when the explosion happens, how do they end up on opposite side of the room?
Movie's got
a movie.
Yeah.
The other thing is like,
But here's the thing:
At
if
the
they hadn't, here's the other thing: if they had not had that realization and they had not moved, they would have been dead.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they were standing right there.
Oh, yeah, right in the
And they're
middle.
like, "Hey, let's go outside," and they take those couple of steps, so they're next to ground zero when that goes.
Yep.
So yeah, they're probably going to get flung across. But it's an interesting kind of what if, like, what would have happened if that hadn't exploded and they had been allowed, if they had allowed that moment to breathe, and the characters would have been able to kind of go at each other and be like. I mean, I think it would have probably given them more permanence down the road if we had gotten another Michael Keaton movie. There may have been more relational dynamics between him and her.
yeah.
Which
that's
which
true.
I would have
Yeah.
I would have appreciated.
I mean, I want to say, like, at the start of this sequence, though, I'm like, when she says what she's there to do, I'm like, finally, you're going after the guy that hurt you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
finally, how long has it been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, this should have been target number one.
Yeah.
Why are we waiting this long and
Right.
you're messing around doing all this other stuff? It could have been like, because blowing up that store, that's going to do nothing to him.
Right. He doesn't care. He'll rebuild it tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like,
And he doesn't say anything about it. We never get a reaction
Yeah, we
shot
don't
from
get
Max
nothing.
Schreck about his shop being blown up by Catwoman.
like, if it was really important to him or something, I could see like, why that explosion sequence should happen, but
Right.
then he should say something about it. Oh, that was my blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
something
But
important out of it.
Nothing comes of it.
So it's like, this is the dude that hurt you and kind of set you on this path, and
Yep.
you're this spirit of kind of like vengeance
Yeah.
towards all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Why wasn't this guy like the first guy you hung out to dry?
Right. Exactly.
But-
The answers to that question we may never know unless we can get Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Keaton, and Tim Burton in a room on a podcast in the near future. Which
And you'd hear me shriek like a fangirl, like,
all shriek like schoolgirls.
yeah, it would be amazing. I would love to have that happen.
Fan humans.
Yeah, fanboy moment for sure. Okay, so where's the security and the police at this party? What is going on? This part really bothers me because it continues on the theme about
This is a theme in the movie.
there is no police. There are no police officers. In the first movie, we had so many. We had an overabundance of them. We had too many. Now we got none. I don't understand.
well,
And-
this is another mega party in Gotham where there's no security
Right.
at all.
And-
People can just
right.
seem to walk in.
Right.
And
Maybe-
it's like all the mega rich people of the city
Right.
gather in one spot. And
well, maybe it could be on the theme of the rich feel they're so untouchable.
Yeah.
So they don't have to. They feel like they're safe and insulated against evil. That they can just have their parties and no one's going to attack them because everyone's the poors are all. I don't know.
And then how come there's like an elevator for that duck thing in the middle of like this tall building where they're holding this party?
Oh, it's so. I love the duck. I love the duck.
Oh, I
thing.
love the little duck
I
tank
love
thing.
the
I thought
duck
it's
thing.
great, but I'm also like,
It's so
you have a
good.
perfect elevator. You blow up
Yep.
the floor, and that can lift your duck up into
Absolutely.
this hole in the floor.
Yeah.
of this
Cobblepot's a
tall
genius.
building.
Yeah, it was a little awkward with like Max Schreck and his son, like take me.
Oh, Chip.
Yeah, I
The perfect name.
I didn't see a reason for Chip to be in the movie.
Chip off the old
block.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. I saw no reason. Like his character didn't bring anything to the movie. Like you could have just taken him out of the movie and it would have been fine. I didn't need to know he had a son.
Well, he's Gotham's number
more
one
depth.
son or whatever. It's
Oh,
kind of like,
why? But there's nothing payoff. There's nothing that he's just used as a placeholder to like get Max to go with the Penguin. It could have been
Yep.
just like
filler.
yeah, it was yeah. As much of an
Fluff.
Academy Award-winning film as this is, there are some
movies.
Aaron
got a
has no
movie.
bias.
You got to like shove this
Aaron
thing
has no
along
bias.
somehow.
right. You gotta have some ancillary stuff. Let's see what else we got here.
See, I love Dallas is on my side now.
No,
Picking
no.
on Aaron
I told
for
you-
his Oscar.
I told y'all I could go either way on this
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't really like. I walk the center line. I enjoy the movie.
You don't have a dog in this fight.
No,
basically. Okay, well I do. I have a couple dogs in this fight.
Aaron has no bias.
I have bat dogs in this fight.
Dogs. Okay.
Anyway, so now Penguin later he put my favorite part of this. So he puts Max Schreck in a birdcage.
Now, why not?
Here's the callback though, because back when Catwoman and Penguin were at his house or his lair, I forgot about this part. So she tries to eat the bird, like to shut him up or to like impose on him, and then he goes and he's gonna kill her cat.
Oh yeah.
And so then she spits out the bird.
Yep.
And
wait, what?
Yeah. So
no.
It's shortly after that scene where he bites the guy's nose and all kind of stuff like that, and Catwoman shows up in his little like lair
and he's like,
spot.
you have a visitor.
Yeah.
Is there, and so he tried, like, that's where the whole uncomfortable moments happen with him and her.
Yeah, and there's some theme stuff there that we can't really talk about, but they do threaten each other.
They're threatening each other, and so she like runs her hands across the bars of the birdcage, opens it up, grabs the bird. And holds it in there, and she's gonna eat. She's like, and he's just like, I'm gonna kill your cat, and she's like, Pah! And she like, the bird pops out of her, and so then they're like fine with it. So I feel like that's the connective tissue why he's in a gigantic bird cage. I also am just like, where did the Penguin get the gigantic bird cage?
It's also just straight up, it's Penguin, it's bird themed.
Penguin,
you can have
it's
the
bird
cage.
Yeah, right.
All right. We'll let the movie if it needs to.
The cartoon theme of that.
Yes.
Of that,
the big goofy
that
bird
scene.
cage.
That's solid.
Yeah, it's good. So the Penguin gathering, he gathers all the penguins, like in the return, like in the Skywalker movie with all the Sith, and all the penguins are gathered. And he's like, "We will take."
And he gives that really weird speech kind of thing. Yeah.
There's this moment.
So good.
The absurdity of it. I love it. Like like in other movies, I'd be like, "This is dumb," but in this movie, it is Penguin at his absurdest. And I love it.
Well, it's over the top craziness that we're getting here at the end.
Yeah.
Because like
he equips them with rockets.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, and little mind control caps.
But
the thing is, you kind of learn is like looking at these penguins, like they're intelligent.
Yeah.
They're more than the average penguin.
Yeah, that's right.
Smarter than the average bear.
And he's like got mind control caps on him and like weird little rockets that he's gonna send them out.
Hold on. I appreciate that you got the hey woo boo.
Yeah.
Bending basket. Like thank you for getting the Yogi the Bear joke.
I love Yogi the Bear too.
Yeah. Smarter than your average penguin. / bear. Yogi the Penguin. Anyway, so the Yogi the Penguins have mind control things.
Yeah.
And they've got rockets, which are not real rockets. They're clearly like. Yeah. It's a little.
What are you gonna blow up with this?
So good though.
It is fun. So there's the Bat boat, which obviously we are introduced now too, because the Batmobile's dead, so we can't drive the Batmobile.
And the Batwing crashed.
So now we got the Bat boat, and it actually on the closed captioning says Bat boat flies by. So it's an actual legit bat boat, according to
everything gets labeled Bat. We have the Bat CD player too. So hey.
Yep. Bat shoes.
The thing is, like, why does the Bat radar squawk like a penguin when it?
I don't know.
Did any
really? Wait, really?
Yes. Go watch this scene again.
Yeah.
When it does its little like thing, it squawks like. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Is that right?
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Oh my!
I was like, what the heck is going on?
That's a sound effect that they tried to use for something penguin.
I glossed over that when I watched it last night, and now you've brought it back to my memory, and I can't ignore it.
And I'm just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. So here's the best part. So the Bat boat is coming, and everyone can hear it, and I love this moment because everyone flees.
Yeah.
All his support, all his gang members, all the guys who are like they fade away, they circus away. Even the lady who's controlling the robots turns the light off in her little shelter
thing and fades into the
darkness. And so it's now Penguin once again, and I love the theme of this. He is alone. He is.
Except for his mind control penguin.
Well, and he's losing those. So then he jumps in your favorite, the
gosh.
duck.
This is such a
duck.
So the duck goes upstairs, up actual stairs.
Yep.
And
I want to know how much money they spent on making that duck thing.
It must.
I should have researched this.
It had to have cost some money because that thing really rolls. Like it's a practical effect. You talk about CGI.
Exactly.
This was practical.
Well,
yeah. So let me just paint the picture for those who have not seen this movie. It's a rubber ducky.
Yep.
Shaped small tank, and if you understand the size of Danny DeVito, he's about 5'3" tall.
Yeah.
and so he's not very tall.
Yeah.
As humans are concerned,
Yeah.
but he's in this little rubber ducky shaped tank thing, rolling upstairs, and he's just going on a rampage.
Yeah.
And he's still doing his. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's
making all the
going
weird
nutsy.
noises and stuff. Yeah.
So then he gets up top because he's going to, and he gets out. And as he comes up, then the bat boat comes shooting out of the ground.
Yeah.
And collides with the duck
Yep.
and explosions.
And like in
happen.
a perfect time thing where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how did this?
Yeah, it's
what?
a little.
And then you have secret like pocket sand, but it's bats in
Yeah.
your bat boat.
I don't know. Well, so the best part about that is that Batman has.
I'm not wrong. I have pocket bats. Yeah.
Suspension
Out of my boat.
of disbelief.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's not great. I'll give you that. It's a little too much.
Okay.
A little over the top. Could have been a little more understated. But we're at the end of the movie, so we have to Batman, and we got a movie. So he has the remote control. Batman has it in his hands for the Penguins, and they're going imano imano, and like then I think Penguin grabs it, or how does he get it from him? I think he just like he punches him or something happens, and he gets the control. And in Penguin's fury, he clicks the button. Because he's got to know the missiles are coming for him. Like he's got he's launching these missiles. Where are they going to like the Penguins are all looking at him. So I feel like this is where Penguin's madness fully becomes like maybe thinking Batman will get killed along with it.
Yep.
Maybe that's part of it, or maybe hey Max Schreck is still downstairs. I'll get him killed.
Something. I don't. Yeah.
He loses his mind. He's a bad guy and he goes nuts. So he hits the button and all of the rockets, and they destroy the zoo basically, and they blow up everything. And where does he end up?
He ends up dying, and they have that weird funeral thing.
Oh, I know that, but how does he get in downstairs? Does he get blown?
Penguins carry him.
No, but how does he get downstairs though? Because when the rockets fly, and like, does Batman punch him, or how does Penguin end up down? I think he gets blown down there somehow.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but he ends up down there. So the whole thing gets blown up, and then I think Batman goes looking for Max Schreck, and this is where we get what I call just an incredible ending. I love this ending because Catwoman is in tatters. Her costume is coming apart at the seams, and she's now going to get her final revenge against Max Schreck. And she's got so many lives left, according to her Catwoman mythology. And Penguin shoots her. Or no, sorry, not Penguin.
No, Max Schreck
shoots her.
Yeah.
Shoots her, and like she loses
she starts counting.
It's a revolver,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's maybe 5 shots.
Yeah. So she counts them.
Yeah.
The life, and the part that so I think why she's part zombie is she takes those shots and she continues to live.
Yep.
Or
Well,
there's a super-
that's one shot per life, right?
Right.
Doesn't she? As she's
Yeah.
counting, I think
As she gets hit, she actually tells him the number.
the
like,
number,
what-
the number left.
Yeah, and
I
so
think-
she gets close to him, and he runs out of ammunition.
Yeah.
And so she then pulls out the taser.
which she got a long time ago.
Yep. And she held on to it, and so then he's right up against the electrics, and she says, "It's time for you. It's time." And so she pulls him in and fries him.
And
it's
then
so
you get that
good.
weird little awkward.
Spends
skeleton
one of her
thing.
lives on
Yeah,
that.
spends one of her lives
And
on
it
that.
is explosive.
It's good.
So that short.
Well, we did kind of miss the speech where Batman gives her, like, he rips off his cowl,
Yeah.
trying to convince her.
Yeah, okay, we did miss that. Sorry, thank you. So that moment is really beautiful because she realizes, like, he's like, you could be with me and all, we could be together, and she's like, yeah, but I can't do that. That's not me. That's not who I am.
Well, I mean, he gives this. I have issues with this speech because if you listen to the speech and the way he's talking to her about vigilantism and all this kind of stuff, whatever, I'm like, Batman, that all applies to you, man.
Right, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you should be in jail too by
Right.
your own words.
Yeah.
I was like, this speech shouldn't have been in here. You should be saying something else.
Yeah, it's a little pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah.
Movie's got a movie. I just love it.
Yeah.
I love.
fair.
I love. I know I'm glossing over a heck of a lot, but I love that he tries to save her. It's kind of that.
Yeah, he's trying.
Sure.
It's that Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. I know there's good in you. I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can. And in some ways, there's a good parallel here. I just thought of that in my head because Darth Vader, spoiler alert, does die at the end of Return of the Jedi. Spent 35, 50 years.
If you haven't seen the movie yet,
You just spoiled Star Wars.
I know. I'm
Ruined.
so sorry.
What
It's the worst.
will
This
we
is
do?
the last episode of Nerds My Screen.
Yeah, we're
gonna get canceled by Lucasfilm.
yeah, it's done.
play taps. It's over.
Anyway, but if
The
you,
mouse is coming for us. Now.
Yeah, because they now own by Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Oh, hi guys, you're
that's
canceled.
right.
Like I'm gonna wake up in the morning with Hitman Goofy standing over me.
Oh,
Gorge, James.
Hulk.
You spoiled Star Wars.
We're taking you to jail. Let's go.
Where have we gone?
I don't know, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try and get back. To
We're
that.
gonna be like brainwashed. James and Aaron gonna be at like working at Disney World now, selling funnel cakes.
Disney bottomized.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Good times.
It's the Disney lobotomy.
Fun for the whole family. So, anyway, the parallels are interesting, right? Because Darth Vader, Luke tries and tries and tries, and in the end, he does. Darth Vader saves him by throwing the Emperor over the rails.
Yeah.
In Batman Returns, Catwoman, Selena Kyle, because here's the deal. So up until that moment, the air conditioning is working, right? The air conditioning that keeps the Arctic places in good hands. It's working. If Penguin comes back up, he's going to live. Like, he'll be able to survive. He'll be able to restore his kingdom. So for Selena Kyle, again, this is a bit of a stretch, so just go with me while I gymnastic this up and hit the center beam. We'll see. She sacrifices herself both to kill Shrek because she wants revenge, but she also knows that if that electricity is able to retain, Penguin comes back. Penguin lives.
No, I don't think she's thinking that.
I don't think so either.
Nope.
No.
You're trying to Mr. Fantastic this, and that's too
like,
far of a stretch, sir.
If you're looking at it from the I'm going to sacrifice myself, she knows how many lives she has. She's got left.
Oh, she still has a couple left.
She still has a couple left.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's fully well knowing. Maybe we can kill
I
literally two birds with one stone.
Because otherwise,
right?
that ending sequence where she's standing in the shadows, still at the end, that doesn't happen because she sacrificed herself.
Yeah. Well, my literary analyzation went a little too far. That's good, but I still think there's some comparisons there to be made between those two. But
it's also Batman is a failed Luke Skywalker. He doesn't succeed.
That's really dark and mean.
Well, it's not wrong.
Yeah, it's not wrong. Well,
you can't save them all.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. So he electrify, and Penguin's death is masterful because he tries to come back. He tries, I just need a drink of water. And then the Penguins bury him, obviously, and put him in the water, and that's the end.
Send him back from whence he
yeah,
came.
these weird,
right?
awkward, sentient penguins pick him up and carry him back to the water where he kind of came from and deliver him into it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's weird to me, but I'm still like, okay. Especially Batman sitting there watching this, I'm like,
I think
I would have been like, these penguins are sentient. I think I have more things I need to exterminate down here.
Yeah.
It's good, though.
No, it's
still good.
It's a humanizing moment in that.
Yeah. That the penguins at least
penguins
probably
still feel pity for him.
Yeah.
And I think I
think Batman still does too.
Yeah. Well,
right?
the moment
there's just this well, this really sucks. Still.
Well, even as an audience member, you kind of go, man.
Yeah.
Like maybe he could have lived. Maybe there could have been.
Out of all this stuff, no one really is the winner.
Correct. Yeah. Because Batman loses Selena.
Yeah.
Selena loses Batman. Oswald loses his possibility of reemergence and becoming part of the world again. Max Schreck loses his possibility of taking control of the world and sucking all the power out of Gotham. Max's son, who we really don't care about, loses his father, which is a whole storyline. I'm sure. Good old Chip. Poor Chip. And there's a lot of loss in this movie that is, I think, is very interesting as a viewer to examine and look into.
Yeah, it's not really a happy ending.
I
mean, they tried to bring it back with that Bruce sees the cat thing or whatever, but it's kind of like, there's really no happiness here.
But I like that that's how it ends because, well, obviously, you obviously know that Selena's probably still alive somewhere. Like Catwoman lives, she's in the place, she's in the city somewhere. And I like that kind of metaphor of like, hey, he's picking up the cat, he's taking it home. There is still a connection between them. He still has feelings for her, et cetera, et cetera. But I also like as he gets in the car and he drives away, the movie kind of goes above Gotham, and then the bat signal is back, and that's the end. That's the movie, and I love that because, to your point, it isn't a happy ending. It is a little sad, but I think that's the Batman story. Batman's true story of Bruce Wayne, and it's a story of constant sadness because he's trying to save a city that doesn't want to save itself. He's always trying to save the people from experiencing the loss of family members and people. And the city continues throughout mythology, from the comics to the movies to the new movies. The city never really.
It remains a cesspool of crime
it does.
and
it
misery.
never really embraces Batman as the true hero that he could be. And he fights that a little bit too.
I mean, the thing is like you can't change that because then it kind of messes up everything.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have a lot with I like one-shot comics more than I like the continuing storyline.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's Batman / Bruce Wayne has so many opportunities where he could change that city around just by himself.
Right.
And that can never come to fruition because the city needs to remain that dark, miserable cesspool.
Because Batman needs to remain Batman.
Yep.
You have to continue the story.
Yeah, that's why I'm more fond of one-shots of Batman than I am the continuing storyline. Because like Batman can do a lot with all his resources and things like that. He can change a ton.
But I also think it's even a story of Gotham. It's always going to need a hero, and that's a subject of the cartoon Batman Beyond, where Bruce Wayne is older and has retired the Batman thing, and the kid comes in and discovers and becomes the new Batman, and it's like Gotham always needs a hero. Gotham always has to have someone to fight for the good man.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Batman Beyond?
Never Batman Beyond?
No.
It's really good.
Check it out. So Kevin Conroy, the guy who does Batman in the animated series, has been doing it I think
all of the good ones.
Yeah. Yep. So he does the voice of old Bruce Wayne. Oh. And it is cool because you get to see Bruce Wayne still pull out his Batman action and he fights, but he's still obviously older and not as...
He's not fast. When he does some of these moves, he actually hurts his back and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But it's cool because the kid, I think his name is Terry something.
Yeah, Terry Mcginnis.
Terry Mcginnis becomes the Batman and becomes the hero and his own struggle with his own storyline of his family and the dynamics.
It's Batman raising like a son.
Wow.
Like it's a proper son, not like Robin stuff.
Like not a sidekick, but an actual like mentor-mentee type scenario.
And it's an interesting, and it's well done. It's only 2 seasons, I think, is how as far as it ran.
It's not very long.
But it is a brilliantly told story, and it fits within the Batman mythos. Yeah. Because you have cartoons that have not done Batman proud.
Yeah, Samurai Batman.
You've had.
But. Hey,
holding on.
If you can suspend all of your,
you
can suspend all of your Batman knowledge, right? And watch Batman, Samurai Batman for what it is.
No.
It's so awesome.
Okay,
it's so awesome.
Samurai Batman is going on the list. Of
also,
things I might launch.
One of my favorites, is The Killing Joke.
Oh yeah,
yes,
it's Batman one shot.
It's so good.
There's also the animated series Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Yep.
The Batman animated series and the movies they put out after, like 3 or 4 movies.
The Timmyverse Batman stuff, which is the original animated series.
Yeah.
All that stuff that's tied with that is amazing. They did well above and beyond for that.
So if you're looking for more things to engage with that are Batman, that are good, strong Batmans, obviously we recommend Batman Beyond. We recommend Batman animated series and the movies that came out of it that spawned it. There's obviously the Christopher Nolan Batmans, which eventually we'll get to. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, those are good. Those are my favorites.
I like those. Yeah. And
they have their weak points, but I think they're my favorites because it's like, it shows a bit more of the Batman being like human.
Yeah, it does. And the process that he has to go through for the healing and things like that, because he actually does get his butt kicked.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's obviously Justice League, Batman vs Superman. Like I haven't watched Justice League.
I have no knowledge of them.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna have to eventually watch Superman vs Batman because what people say is Ben Affleck's Batman is actually a good one.
Is it really?
That. Yeah, and
Batfleck is good.
Yeah, Batfleck is good,
really?
and his Bruce Wayne is even better. Oh. So he's on par with Michael Keaton, is what people have said, and that's high praise because Michael Keaton is my Batman.
As someone that's watched those things, I can say yes, Batfleck is great.
But then
they threw him away on these garbage movies.
Yeah.
It's like you brought in a great actor that can do the Bruce Wayne and the Batman. and just you could hear that toilet bowl flush. And it's like,
Oh,
no.
you brought in somebody with range and you didn't give him the range.
Just the same with Henry Cavill for Superman, where you threw away like the perfect actor for Superman.
I do like Henry Cavill.
The Witcher is a fantastic
sure.
series. The Witcher is a fantastic
Because
series.
everything he's done, he's a fanboy
It's
of
a
it.
good show.
Witcher's good.
I have heard some very high praise
Yes.
from a lot of people about The Witcher.
As a literary guy, as a language arts teacher, the storyline and the way that it's told and the way that Henry Cavill plays that character, it is very impressive.
Well, it's because he's a massive Witcher fan.
Yep,
Of
he's
the
a big old
books
geek.
and the
Oh,
games.
is he really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
a big old nerd.
Yep.
He almost missed out on being Superman because he's playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Wow.
He builds.
That's
he
good.
builds his own computers.
Yeah,
Like Henry Cavill is legit one of a cool
he's a
dude.
nerd like
Good
us.
for him.
Yeah, he's
I'm
a nerd.
glad he does that.
Yeah.
You know, and nowadays, if you can build them for cheaper,
Right.
then do it.
Well,
Yeah.
now in 2022, computers
You
are a
can't.
whole other thing. But it's like there are so Henry Cavill, as much as his performance in Batman vs Superman and the Justice League was panned because it wasn't the script that was written for him for his Superman.
Well, yeah, whoever was writing the Superman
Yep.
forgot who Superman
Man
is.
was, yep.
What a bummer.
And even the Man of Steel movie, for as good as
No,
it looked
yeah.
and everything else,
Yeah.
you forgot who Superman was.
Yep.
You just kind of flushed
Yep.
all the good parts of what is Superman in the toilet.
Well, the dysfunction started with Brandon Routh and Superman Returns. Like it was disappointing. It
Yeah.
wasn't a great Superman movie, and I'm sure there's people out there who would believe differently. But yeah, it's
It's kind of like, yeah, we got this character we can do a lot of these cool effects with where we can have
Yep.
the bullets bounce off his eyeball.
Oh,
I was
what?
kind of like, oh.
Come on.
yeah. Things did not. The DC movie universe needs a restart, and it needs it
It
quick.
needs that gentle, loving touch that the Marvel Cinematic Universe got. And they need to spend the money to slow grow it.
Yep.
Well, but look at how much more money is spent on Marvel stuff
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
and the advertisement
And
and,
they're
all
and
of
they-
the merchandising and all that.
It's because they're smart. And also, Disney is letting Kevin Feige, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Kevin Feige. Yep.
Yeah, Feige, whatever. Or like, well,
Yep.
Kevin Feige. I think Feige is the guy that did messed up Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Feige is the guy that is in charge of the Marvel
Yep,
stuff.
and
But I
he's doing
think
pretty
he's
well.
the guy, like, they let him take his time.
And I think that, I think you're right. I
It's
think
one
that's
of
what
those
it
things where
needs.
you take time, you have the money so you can
Yep.
do whatever you want to.
Yep.
You're going to crank out stuff that's going to make money back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, this was a rousing discussion.
I mean, it's just what they need to do.
Yeah.
It's what I think it's Warner Brothers owns the rights to the DC stuff,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's what they kind of realize what to
Yeah.
do instead of just making cash grabs
Yeah.
and hoping something hits.
Right.
It's like if you want to grow something and make it that fantastic, take your time.
Yep.
We need it. You should have slowed everything down once you
Yep.
started establishing that Superman stuff. Tried to
Yep.
give us the Superman movie where he is Superman instead of Emo Man,
Yeah.
and then give us a Batfleck movie. Build from there, and then
Yeah.
you can have your Superman Batman movie,
Oh, yeah.
and then you can have your Aquaman and all the others established
Yeah.
now at that point.
Yeah.
And then you have the Justice League movie come along.
Yep.
Instead of doing what they did, where they just kind of like we're throwing it out there. Give us money.
Well, and there's just here's another problem with there's just so much.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
just so much.
Yep.
Like, I'm not gonna take the time for that.
Yeah. Well, and especially if it's not good.
Yep.
Like
Especially if it's
and
garbage.
universally, what you end up hearing from people you would trust when they watch the DC stuff was just like, this is
Yeah.
this
This
the
is
resounding thumbs down.
yeah. They're not like, oh my gosh, it was so good. Like Endgame, that's my Marvel experience currently ends at Endgame, and I love that's where it
Yep.
ends for me. But because
Oh, no,
from
Haven't even gotten there.
from start to Endgame, it is a
I'm current.
beautiful,
So for Eternal.
it's a beautiful universe, and it is the way that they wove those storylines from movie to movie, from moment to moment, from character to character. It is a masterwork in how do you do the slow burn.
There you go.
Is how do you connect it all in a way that as a viewer there's a payoff. When that final battle scene happens in Endgame where all those portals open up and everyone shows up, you as a viewer are cheering because everything that's happened up until that moment has prepared you and they've earned it. They
Yeah.
have earned that moment where in another situation you'd be like, oh, this is cheap.
Yeah,
This
and
is
the thing is, it's also cool because it's a great moment for Cap because
Yeah.
he's not going to stop.
right. I can do this all
Even
day.
in front of all that army,
Yeah.
he's just going to keep standing there until they kill him.
Yep. But in that moment where
It's
he
a
is,
huge payoff.
yeah, it's brilliant. And so in a lot of ways, what Marvel has done up through Endgame, my experience ends Endgame. I'll eventually have to deal with everything else, but it is a masterful story. And you compare that against the DC system that they had built.
And now they're just cranking out these weird like one-shot things.
Yeah.
That are all in their own
They've
order,
made, like,
which I will
three
admit that Joker movie
Oh,
is fantastic.
The one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh,
That's like what, about a
beautiful.
year? A couple years since that movie?
That is a beautiful play on the Joker.
And now we're getting another one-shot Batman with Pattinson, which it looks great.
Yeah.
Zoe, but I can't really Kravitz.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz is playing Catwoman.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Oh.
That movie right now looks fantastic, but I'm sitting there and it's like, I don't want a one-shot.
Right.
Are you going to build off this?
Right.
Do you have him contracted for longer, or is this another one-shot thing?
Right, because we want a Batman. We want a Michael Keaton. We want consistent. We want good Batman films. We want to add that mythology, and there's so much that you can dig in from that. So we'll see. We'll see when Batman comes out. We'll see how I feel about it. There's a lot of unknown. The DC universe has done us not well.
Yep.
And so we're all bat shy.
Aside from the Nolan movies, right? That's a good set of movies,
but that's
right?
been years. Like, when's the last time they had a good DC
How
movie?
long?
And then that's
Wait, hold on.
everybody on that project
So,
decided we're done after these movies
Help
too.
me with how long it's been.
Since the last Nolan movie?
Yeah. Because that would be Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yep. Let's find out how long it's been.
Yeah, Google that. 'cause
Dark-
I don't remember
let's
off the top of
date-
my head.
Dark
Let's
Knight
date
Rises,
Dallas.
2012.
Oh,
There you go.
okay. So my reference for most everything,
Yeah.
my musical taste, just for clarification.
Yeah.
My musical tastes range from mid-late 60s
Yeah.
to about 2005. So I haven't necessarily listened to anything really new.
Yeah.
My cinematic choices are probably about the same range.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Well,
you
the
know,
thing is,
with some exceptions.
if you want to come back and join us on these things, I mean, you're gonna have to watch them. It's like we torture ourselves by
I will
making
have to
ourselves
find
watch these
time.
things.
Homework. Oh,
Yeah, it's
I have
homework.
to be like,
We have
I'm
homework.
sorry, honey, I have homework to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here to give you homework. It's the job. Well, Batman Returns, my end-all be-all on that is it's a fantastic Batman movie. I think it works. It fires on almost all the cylinders. Yes, there's some moments where you kind of go, what? But overall, I ended last night when that movie was done, I was just like, this was amazing. I have been waiting for this. And maybe it comes after having watched Batman, the original, and kind of being disappointed with that whole process.
I mean, I'll admit it's better than that first one.
Yeah.
So.
And I love it because it's true to the character and it's fantastic. Any final thoughts on Batman Returns from either of my remaining panelists?
Go ahead, Dallas.
I love how both of you hate. Well, not necessarily hate. How both of you dislike the original
Right.
versus
Right.
the second one.
Yeah.
Which is not common.
Yeah.
I like them both
Yeah.
just the same because I love Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. Nostalgia is a hell of a drug. It's a
Yeah.
hell it's a hell of a thing. It
I
works.
mean, I'll admit, I like Michael Keaton as Batman.
Oh, I'm happy to have him back in the
Like,
new.
I agree with all those fans that are saying like we should get a Batman Returns movie where he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, right?
Well, he's coming back in the Flash multiverse, whatever they're doing with that. So his cowl was featured in the trailer a couple months back.
Make the Batman Beyond movie. Come on.
Yep.
Do it. We have Michael Keaton. He's old enough. He can do it.
Let's make it happen,
He's
Hollywood.
doing hero movies again.
Yeah.
He's returning as the Vulture.
Make it happen.
Yes.
Nice.
We ask you, Hollywood. All right. Well, this has been a rollicking good time. 2 episodes, 2 hours long total. It's been. This is what we do. We're nerds by screenlight. And
See how he's trying to skip over my review of the Batman Return things and just move on? It's okay, though. I get it. We're done.
I'm just sweeping it on
Yeah,
out the door.
Sweeping me out the door.
Sweeping it out the door.
He got his nice Dallas review.
You already told me how you feel about this movie. Don't try and tack
please,
more on.
Please. No, add to it.
No,
Go
we're
ahead.
good. It's better than the original, but I still don't really rank it that high. But it's a fun romp.
You know what? Our next episode when we do, we'll have our opening. We'll openly rank our Batman movies, and we'll see where they stand.
My recommendation for anyone who watches a movie is just remove every expectation you have. And I understand where Aaron's coming from, where James is coming from, but we invested in this, and so we feel like we have license, and we own it, as well as fans. But if you can remove a little bit of your
that's
investment in it,
why
and
I made
just
the comment
sit,
last time
right?
we met, where I said it's like there's James that if you want to sit me down and just to enjoy things and not really think critically of it, I can do that.
Yeah,
and I'll enjoy the stuff, and I'll just like, oh, cool. I'm not going to think deeply of it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put me in a situation like this where I'm going to have to talk about it and kind of be critical of it, different mindset, different brain comes into a thing. I am going to look at it way more critically.
That's super fair, and I may have that same if I'm invited back.
Well, no, you are. I just
will
think
be.
it's like in this situation, the podcast. If I just sat here and like fanboyed about something the whole time, it would be disingenuous to our listeners. Where it's like it's great, and I'm not really criticizing something, or I'm not challenging them to look deeper, think on this deeper, folks. Think of this character's motivation that they failed or let through on this movie, or where did this come from in this movie? Especially like when, like we were talking about some of the Ghostbusters stuff. It's like you're trying to ground yourself in reality, but then you do this, so it kind of just breaks it all.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, well, here you go, folks. Think on this a little bit deeper. Take a deeper look at this.
All right, so maybe I will.
It's part of critical thinking.
I will don a more critical mindset when.
I mean, you don't have to be me. You don't come down here in this pit.
No.
I'm the abyss that looks back through you that Batman talks about.
We can get we can get super cynical, but I try not to.
Well, the thing is, it's not so much cynical; it's just critical thinking.
I can get super critical.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
Yeah.
We are approaching our end. We have pushed ourselves to the far reaches of Federation space.
How long was this one versus the other?
52 minutes on this and 16 minutes on the intro.
Really?
So we are hitting our limit.
I'm proud of ourselves.
Sorry, everybody.
I mean, like adding Dallas did add some time because it's nice to have a third person to talk to, but this went pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
Like for our first guest.
Yeah, it went well.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, me
Solid.
too.
Well done, Jen.
And on that bombshell.
And I think we maintain the same bantery thing going forward.
Yep, it's going to be great to edit this. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, Aaron's going to hate us.
I don't actually edit too much. I just put it together and slam it together and upload it. On that tremendous bombshell, my name is Aaron.
I'm James.
And I'm Dallas.
This has been Nerds by Screenlight. We'll catch you on the next one. See
Everybody
ya.
take care out there.
Yep, be safe and all that. Good night.
The raspberry flapovers will be out in a moment. The kitchen is closed.
You've been listening to the Nerds by Screenlight podcast, presented by Create at Morgan Productions, located in Fort Morgan, Colorado, USA. For more information on our production house, other podcasts hosted here, and further details, please visit www.createatmorgan.org. You can find us on Twitter at the handle CreateAtMorgan. Create at Morgan is a school club at Lincoln High School, our alternative education campus in Morgan County. Our sponsor is Aaron DeLay, the language arts teacher at Lincoln. Send any feedback to adelayedteacher@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our podcast.